Hey, sweet. Thank you for coming through. Thank you, sweet. Thank you for being early. Just wait for a few people to come in and then I will start reading. Hi, sweet. Thank you for coming through. Um, so I'm gonna be. Hey, Miss Donna. Thank you for coming through. Thank you. So I'm gonna be reading the last chapters of Joshua. And for anyone that's new to my channel, I just really read the Bible, encourage you. Hey Naomi, thank you for coming through. I just really encourage you to read your Bible, build a relationship with God, and just plant little seeds really. I really just do this to plant little seeds. And as I'm on this journey of learning, as I have been walking with Christ now for 2 years, I invite you guys to come learn with me. Hey Jordan, thank you for coming through. How are you? I'm just inviting you guys to come through um, and learn with me and see my transformation. On my channel, I do have videos of my transformation and how God has changed my life, right? So basically this is all part of my testimony. This is part of me learning. This is part of me growing as a person, and um that's what I do. So yes, I'm not like a teacher, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a preacher, I'm not any of that. I'm literally just a child of God, just here to learn and hopefully be a light and get other people to want to get to know God. So I am in the book of Joshua. I wanted to say I seen you on Taylor's live. I don't know how my typing. I think it's auto type. Um, yeah, I'm just going to read chapters 20 to 24 in the book of Joshua. Now, we read chapters 15 to 19 on Sunday. Was it Sunday? I think it's Sunday. Chapters 15 to 19 in the book of Joshua, and basically that was just speaking about the land being divided to the tribes that God had promised Abraham. So we just really, it just really talked about who got what land and where and how it was divided. Hello, madam. Hi, Ryan. Thank you for coming through. And basically it was just talking about how the land has got divided. So basically God keeping to his promise and keeping to his fulfillment of giving land to Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, their descendants. So as I said, we're going to be reading chapters 20 to 20. How are you? I'm from London, UK. I'm from the UK. So I'm going to be reading chapters 20 to 24 in the book of Joshua. So chapter 20. Then the Lord said to Joshua, tell the Israelites to designate the cities of refuge as I instructed you through Moses, so that anyone who kills a person accidentally and unintentionally may flee there and find protection from the avenger of blood. When they flee to the one of these cities, they are to stand in the entrance of the city gate and state their cases before the elders of that city. Then the elders are to admit the fugitive into their city and provide a place to live among them. If the avenger of blood comes in pursuit, the elders must not surrender the fugitive, because the fugitive killed their neighbor unintentionally and without malice or afterthought. They are to stay in that city until they have stood trial before the assembly and until the death of the high priest, who is serving at the time. Then they may go back to their own home in the town from which they fled. So they set apart Kadesh in Galilee, in the hill country of Naphtali, Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim, and Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the hill country of Judah. East of the Jordan, on the other side from Jericho, they designated Bezer in the wilderness on the plateau, in the tribe of Reuben, Ramoth in Gilead, in the tribe of Gad and Golan in Bashan, in the tribe of Manasseh. Any of the Israelites or any foreigner residing among them who killed someone accidentally could flee to these designated cities and not be killed by the avenger of blood prior to the standing trial before the assembly. Chapter 21. Hey twin! How are you, twin? Thank you for coming through. Chapter 21. Now the family heads of the Levites approached Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the heads of the other tribe families of Israel at Shiloh in Canaan, and said to them, the Lord commanded through Moses that you give us towns to live in with pasture lands for our livestock. So as the Lord had commanded, the Israelites gave the Levites the following towns and the pasture lands out of their own inheritance. The first lot came out from the Kohathites according to their clans. The Levites, who were the descendants of Aaron, the priest, were allotted 13 towns from the tribes of Judah, Simeon, and Benjamin, and the rest of Kohath's descendants were allotted 10 towns from the clans of the tribes of Ephraim, Dan, and half of Manasseh. The descendants of Gershon were allotted 13 towns from the clans of the tribes of Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and the half tribe of Manasseh in Bashan. The descendants of the Merarites, according to their clans, received 12 towns from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun. So the Israelites allotted to the Levites these towns and their pasture lands, as the Lord had commanded through Moses. From the tribes of Judah and Simeon, they allotted the following towns by name. These towns were assigned to the descendants of Aaron, who were from the Kohathite clans of the Levites, because the first lot fell to them. They gave them Kiriath Arba, which is Hebron, with its surrounding pasture land in the hill country of Judah. Arba was the forefather of Anak, but the fields and the villages around the city they had given to Caleb son of Jephunneh as his possession. So to the descendants of Aaron, the priests, they gave Hebron, a city of refuge for one accused of murder, Libnah, Jattah, Estamah, Helon, Debir, Ain, Jattah, and Beth Shemesh, together with their pasture, 9 towns from these 2 tribes. And from the tribe of Benjamin they gave them Gibeon, Geba, Anaroth, and Almon, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns. The total number of towns for the priests, the descendants of Aaron, came to 13, together with their pasture lands. The rest of the Kohathite clans of the Levites were allotted towns from the tribe of Ephraim. In the hill country of Ephraim they were given Shechem, a city of refuge for one accused of murder, and Gezer, Kibzaim, and Beth-horon, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns. Also from the tribe of Dan they received Etikah, Gibbethon, Ajalon, and Gathramon, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns from half the tribe of Manasseh. They received Tananach and Gath Ramon together with their pasture lands, 2 towns. All these 10 towns and their pasture lands were given to the rest of the Korathite clans. The Levite clans of the Gershonites were given from the half tribe of Manasseh, Golan in Bashan, a city of refuge for one accused of murder, and Be Eshterah, together with their pasture lands, 2 towns. From the tribe of Issachar, Kishon, Deberath, Jarmuth, and Engannim, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns. From the tribe of Asher, Mishal, Abdon, Hilkath, and Rehob, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns. From the tribe of Naphtali, Kadesh in Galilee, a city of refuge for one accused of murder, Hamoth, Dorah, and Kartan, together with their pasture lands, 3 towns. The total number of towns of the Gershonite clans came to 13, together with their pasture lands. The Merarite clans, the rest of the Levites, were given the tribe of Zebulun, Jokneam, Kartar, Dimnah, and Nahalal, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns. From the tribe of Reuben, Bezer, Jahaz, Kedemoth, and Methpahath, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns. From the tribe of Gad, Ramoth in Galilee, Gilad, a city of refuge for one accused of murder, Mahananam, Heshbon, and Jazer, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns in all. The total number of towns allotted to the Merarite clans, who were the rest of the Levites, came to 12. The towns of the Levites in the territory held by the Israelites were 48 in all, together with their pasture lands. Each of these towns had pasture lands surrounding it. This was true for all these towns. So the Lord gave Israel all the land he had sworn to give their ancestors, and took possession of it and settled there. The Lord gave them rest on every side, just as he had sworn to their ancestors. Not one of their enemies withstood them. The Lord gave all their enemies into their hands. Not one of all the Lord's good promises to Israel failed. Everyone was fulfilled. Chapter 22. Hi, twin. Chapter 22. Then Joshua summoned the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh, and said to them, "You have done all that Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded, and you have obeyed me in everything I commanded for a long time now. To this very day, you have not deserted your fellow Israelites, but have carried out the mission the Lord your God gave you. Now that the Lord your God has given them rest as he promised, return to your homes in the land that Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you on the other side of the Jordan. But be very careful to keep the commandments and the laws and the law that Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you, to love the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to him, to keep his commands, to hold fast to him, and to serve him with all your hearts and with all your soul." Then Joshua blessed them and sent them away, and they went to their homes. To the half tribe of Manasseh, Moses had given land in Bashan, and to the other half of the tribe, Joshua gave land on the west side of the Jordan, along with their fellow Israelites. When Joshua sent them home, he blessed them, saying, "Return to your homes with your great wealth, with large herds of livestock, with silver, gold, bronze, and iron, and a great quantity of clothing, and divide the plunder from your enemies with your fellow Israelites." So the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half tribe of Manasseh left the Israelites at Shiloh in Canaan to return to Gilead, their own land, which they had acquired in accordance with the command of the Lord through Moses. When they came to Gealoth, near the Jordan in the land of Canaan, the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh built an imposing altar there by the Jordan. And when the Israelites heard that they had built the altar on the border of Canaan at Gileath, near the Jordan, on the Israelite side, the whole assembly of Israel gathered at Shiloh to go to war against them. So the Israelites sent Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the priest, to the land of Gilead, to Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh. With them, they sent 10 of the chief men, one from each of the tribes of Israel, each the head of a family division among the Israelite clans. When they went to Gilead, to Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh, they said to them, the whole assembly of the Lord says, how could you break faith with the God? How could you break faith with the God of Israel like this? How could you turn away from the Lord and build yourself an altar in rebellion against him now? Was not the sin of Peor enough for us? Up to this very day, we have not cleansed ourselves from that sin. Even though a plague fell on the community of the Lord, and are you now turning away from the Lord? If you rebel against the Lord today, tomorrow he will be angry with the whole community of Israel. If the land you possess is defiled, come over to the Lord's land, where the Lord's tabernacle stands, and share the land with us. But do not rebel against the Lord or against us by building an altar for yourselves, other than the altar of the Lord our God. Thank you for coming through, Red. But Achan, son of Zerah, was unfaithful in regards to the devoted things. Did not wrath come on the whole community of Israel? He was not the only one who died for his sin. Then Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh replied to the head of the clans of Israel, the mighty one, God the Lord, the mighty one, God the Lord. He knows, and let Israel know. If this has been in rebellion or disobedience to the Lord, do not spare us this day. If we have built an altar, or if we have built our own altar to turn away from the Lord and to offer burnt offerings and grain offerings, or to sacrifice fellow offerings on it, may the Lord himself call us to account. No, we did it for fear that someday your descendants might say to us, what do you have to do with the Lord, the God of Israel? The Lord has made the Jordan a boundary between us and you. You Reubenites and Gadites, you have no share in the Lord. So your descendants might cause us to stop fearing the Lord. This is why we said, let us get ready and build an altar, but not for burnt offerings or sacrifices. On the contrary, it is to be a witness between us and you and the generations that follow, that we will worship the Lord as his sanctuary with our burnt offerings, sacrifices, and fellowship offerings. Then in the future, your descendants will not be able to say to us, you have no share in the Lord. And we said, if they ever say this to us or to our descendants, we will answer, look at the replica of the Lord's altar, which our ancestors built not for burnt offerings and sacrifices, but as a witness between us and you. Far be it from us to rebel against the Lord and turn away from him today by building an altar for burnt offerings, grain offerings, and sacrifices other than the altar of the Lord our God that stands before his tabernacle. When Phinehas the priest and the leaders of the community, the heads of the clans of the Israelites, heard what Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh had to say, they were pleased. And that just goes to show how much they were fighting for God. That just shows how much they were standing on business for God. They said, hold on a minute, you are not following God's commandments. My fellow brothers and sisters, let's go and see what this is about. Let me call you out if you are sinning, and let's get this right, you know. As you see, they gave them a chance to say, you know, if your land is corrupted, come with ours and we'll lead you on the right path, right? We will Thank you, twin. I hope you have a good day. Um, they were saying, "I'll come over to us. We'll keep you on the right path, right? If your land is corrupted, don't worry about it. Don't follow what they're doing. Come with us, right?" So you see, they didn't like immediately say to them, like, you're doing absolute wrong. They gave them a chance to speak and to rectify what they were doing, right? But in this instance, they proved that they wasn't going against God. They wasn't going to do any burnt offerings or sacrifices on it. It really was just to say that the Lord our God was here, right? So I just love how they really like stood on business and was like, yeah, don't mess with our God. Um, And Phinehas, son of Eleazar the priest, said to Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh, today we know that the Lord is with us, because you have not been unfaithful to the Lord in this matter. Now you have rescued the Israelites from the Lord's hand. Then Phinehas, son of Eleazar the priest, and the leaders returned to Canaan from their meeting with the Reubenites and Gadites in Gilead, and reported to the Israelites. They were glad to hear the report and praised God, and they talked no more about going to war against them to devastate the country where the Reubenites and Gadites lived. And the Reubenites and the Gadites gave the altar this name: a witness between us that the Lord is God. Chapter 23. After a long time had passed, and the Lord had given Israel rest from all their enemies around them, Joshua, by then a very old man, summoned all Israel, their elders, leaders, judges, and officials, and said to them, I am very old. You yourselves have seen everything the Lord your God has done to all these nations for your sake. It was the Lord your God who fought for you. Remember how I allotted as an inheritance for your tribes all the land of the nations that remain, the nations I conquered between the Jordan and the Mediterranean Sea in the west. The Lord your God himself will push them out for your sake. He will drive them out before you, and you will take your possession of their land as the Lord your God promised you. Be very strong, be careful to obey all that is written in the book of the law of Moses, without turning aside to the right or to the left. Do not associate with these nations that remain among you. Do not invoke the names of their gods or swear by them. You must not serve them or bow down to them, but you are to hold fast to the Lord your God, as you have until now. The Lord has driven out before you great and powerful nations to this day. No one has been able to withstand you. One of you roots 1,000, because the Lord your God fights for you, just as he promised. So be very careful to love the Lord your God. But if you turn away and ally yourselves with the survivors of these nations that remain among you, and if you intermarry with them and associate with them, then you may be sure that the Lord your God will no longer drive out these nations before you. Instead, they will become snares and traps for you, whips on your back and thorns in your eyes, until you perish from this good land which the Lord your God has given you. Now I am about to go the way of the earth. Now with all your heart and soul, that not one of all the good promises the Lord your God gave you has failed. Every promise has been fulfilled. Not one has failed. But just as all the good things the Lord your God has you have come to you, so he will bring on you all the evil things he has threatened, until the Lord your God has destroyed you from this good land he has given you. If you violate the covenant of the Lord your God, which he commanded you, and you go and serve other gods and bow down to them, the Lord's anger will burn against you, and you will quickly perish from the good land he has given you. Chapter 24. Then Joshua assembled all the tribes of Israel at Shechem. He summoned the elders, leaders, judges, and officials of Israel, and they presented themselves before God. Joshua said to all the people, This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Long ago, your ancestors, including Terah, the father of Abraham, and Nahor, lived beyond the river Euphrates and worshipped other gods. But I took your father Abraham from the land beyond Euphrates and led them throughout Canaan and gave him many descendants. I gave him Isaac, and to Isaac I gave Jacob and Esau. I assigned the hill country of Seir to Esau, but Jacob and his family went down to Egypt. Then I sent Moses and Aaron, and I afflicted the Egyptians by what I did there, and I brought you out. When I brought your people out of Egypt, you came to the sea, and the Egyptians pursued them with chariots and horsemen as far as the Red Sea. But they cried to the Lord for help, and he put darkness between you and the Egyptians. He brought the sea over them and covered them. You saw with your own eyes what I did to the Egyptians. Then you lived in the wilderness for a long time. I brought you to the land of the Amorites who lived east of the Jordan. They fought against you, but I gave them into your hands. I destroyed them from before you and you took possession of their land. When Balak son of Zippor, the king of Moab, prepared to fight against Israel, he sent Balaam, son of Beor, to put a curse on you. But I would not listen to Balaam, so he blessed you again and again, and I delivered you out of his hands. Then you crossed the Jordan and came to Jericho. The citizens of Jericho fought against you, as did also the Amorites, Perizzites, the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Hivites, and Jebusites. But I gave them into your hands. I sent the horn ahead of you, which drove them out before you. Also the two Amorite kings. You did not do it with your own sword and bow. Also, I gave you a land on which you did not toil, and cities you did not build, and you live in them and eat from vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant. Now fear the Lord and serve him with all faithfulness. Throw away the gods your ancestors worshipped beyond the river Euphrates and in Egypt and serve the Lord. But if serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourself this day whom you will serve, whether the gods of your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you are living. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. Then the people answered, Far be it from us to forsake the Lord to serve other gods. It was the Lord our God himself who brought us out and our parents up out of Egypt from the land of slavery and performed those great signs before our eyes. He protected us on our entire journey and among all the nations throughout which we traveled. And the Lord drove out before us all the nations, including the Amorites who lived in the land. We too will serve the Lord because he is our God. Joshua said to the people, You are not able to serve the Joshua said to the people, You are not able to serve the Lord. He is a holy God. He is a jealous God. He will not forgive your rebellion and your sins. If you forsake the Lord and serve foreign gods, he will turn and bring disaster on you and make an end of you after he has been good to you. But the people said to Joshua, No, we will serve the Lord. Then Joshua said, You are a witness. You are witnesses against yourself that you have chosen to serve the Lord. Yes, we are witnesses, they replied. Now then, said Joshua, throw away the foreign gods that are among you and yield your hearts to the Lord, the God of Israel. And the people said to Joshua, We will serve the Lord our God and obey him. On that day, Joshua made a covenant for the people, and there at Shechem, he reaffirmed for them decrees and laws. And Joshua recorded these things in the book of the law of God. Then he took a large stone and set it up there under the oak near the holy place of the Lord. See, he said to all the people, This stone will be a witness against us. It has heard all the words the Lord has said to us. It will be a witness against you if you are untrue to your God. Then Joshua dismissed the people, each to their own inheritance. After seeing these things, Joshua son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110, and they buried him in the land of his inheritance at Timnath, Syria, in the hill country of Ephraim, north of Mount Gaash. Israel served the Lord throughout the lifetime of Joshua and of the elders who outlived him and who had experienced everything the Lord had done for Israel. And Joseph's bones, which the Israelites had brought up from Egypt, were buried at Shechem in the tract of the land that Jacob bought for 100 pieces of silver from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem. This became the inheritance of Joseph's descendants. And Eleazar, son of Aaron, died and was buried at Gibeah, which had been allotted to his son Phinehas in the hill country of Ephraim. That is the end of Joshua. So I'm just going to end it by saying that this was really just to affirm the covenant and just to give a reminder of to the Israelites in the promised land that God has given them, and to remain faithful and keep the commandments. And also Joshua, throughout this time, he has been leading the Israelites, and even when he was under Moses, right, he showed he was so humble and showed humility, right, and was also wholeheartedly wanted to fulfill God's mission, and it's setting a good example of a good man of God before the Israelites, right? And it was also to remind the Israelites to keep that level of standard as God's chosen ones, and to be set apart from the others, and to follow God's commands. So really, God really just wants us to be faithful. God wants us to know him wholeheartedly. And just to give a reminder to love your God, love God, right? Love God with all your heart, love God with all your soul. A reminder to keep putting God first, right? Because as you can see in all these situations that the Israelites were in, God was putting them first, even though they did rebel, right? Even though they did rebel, and even though they did disobey God, God did show them mercy, and God did give them grace, right? So he did put them first. So he's just saying, put me first, follow my ways, be set apart, and follow the mission. If God's given you a mission, follow the mission. Don't be disobedient, and do it. And the main thing is to do it wholeheartedly. Do it with love. Hey Zoe, thank you for coming through. Do it with love, just as Joshua set a good example of what it is to lead. Be a leader and lead the people. Be a light, be a good representation, be a good example of what it is to be a child of God, and what it is to follow God and be obedient to him every day. So we're just going to leave it at that. I just want to say it's been, so far, this process has just been so amazing, reading and getting to understand historically, and just understanding God, right? I mean, we'll never understand God, but he's given us a little insight into what he's doing. So it's just been an amazing process. So I will be back on Thursday. I will be back on Thursday, and we will be in the book of Judges. Sometimes I don't understand. I don't think it's for us to understand. We shouldn't lean on our own understanding, right? And everything that God does is for him to know. So it's not really for us to understand. So we must have faith, right? We must not lead by our own sight, but we should be following. We should be following God's words and on what he's doing, right? So Thursday I will be back. Thank you for those who like the live. I really appreciate it. I'm still learning, I'm still new at this, and guys, I come on here every time and I'm a little bit nervous, and I go, why are you so nervous? You're still learning, you're still learning, you're still out here, God's still guiding you through this. So and having you guys here just makes it even more better. I just God is blessing me with people. So anyway, I'll see you on Thursday, and thank you all for coming out again. See you.